First, since we have had a couple of executive sessions already, I would like to get a motion to adjourn from executive session.
Madam President, I make a motion to adjourn from executive session.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning from executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I want to welcome you to the April 14th regular meeting of the Governing Board. Mrs. Nye, could you please do our roll call? Here.
Jason Hollis.
Here.
Here.
Lindsay Love.
Here.
Joel Worth.
Here.
Thank you. Would you please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. All right, we'll first start with some routine business. We need a motion to approve the minutes of the meetings listed on our agenda. Could I please get a motion?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 24th, 2021 regular board meeting and the March 25th, 31, and April 7th, 2021 special board meetings as presented.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes as listed in the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we need to approve and ratify our payroll and accounts payable vouchers.
Madam President, I make a motion to approve and ratify payroll and accounts payable vouchers.
Second.
All those in favor of approving payroll and ratification of the payroll and accounts payable vouchers, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you. Dr. Castile, is there any correspondence?
I'm so sorry. There's no
Dr. Castile,
correspondence.
is there any correspondence this
There
evening?
is none, thank you.
Thank you. Tonight we have two of our student body, student council presidents here with us to tell us what's going on at their schools. And first we have Brooke Romero from Hamilton High School. Brooke?
Hi, everyone. There we go. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me tonight. My name is Brooke Romero, and I am the proud student body president of Hamilton High School. Since the last time we've met, our student government has made it our priority to bring the spirited and uplifting community back to Hamilton High after the pandemic. We have had 2 virtual assemblies since the last time we met, the first one being our winter sports assembly and the second one being our multicultural assembly. Our winter sports assembly celebrated our athletes with special performances from our choir, winter percussion, Hamilton Dance Company, and Vibe. Our second assembly was our annual multicultural assembly. We celebrated Hamilton's diversity with our diverse student body with so many different talents and cultures from around the world. We also had a week-long senior spotlight. We recognized some seniors in our student body that deserve some recognition. We had students send in some applications saying why they believed this certain member of our community deserved to be recognized, and we announced them on the morning announcements. And then we had the honor of giving them all a curated gift basket as a token of our appreciation. We have some projects in the works right now. We have our virtual sports assembly, another assembly. This one is going to recognize, obviously, our spring sports. Then we are bringing therapy dogs to Hamilton. We are so excited, especially after AZA merit testing going on last week and the AP testing coming up. We were so excited to have the opportunity to bring some furry friends to Hamilton. We also are hoping to do a movie on the field. We're looking into that, and we think it'd be a fun way to get students to come together during this time. And we're, of course, preparing for Teacher Appreciation Week coming up next week. Next up, I am going to do some bragging for a minute. I would like to honor some of the incredible young adults at our campus. They have proven this throughout the entire year to be so incredible, and I think that they deserve to be heard from you. First, we have Hamilton Dance Company. They were 8-time state champs in hip hop and also jazz state champs. We also have 10 of our speech and debate members. They were all going to be chosen to represent the state of Arizona in June at the National Speech and Debate Tournament. We also have 2 region premier coaches of the year. We have Coach Bartlett and Coach Snyder. Scott Reed, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but it's really cool. He was on ABC 15 for a survey that he asked his students. His survey was asking students what they thought about their parents. I know, interesting topic, right? Then we have Hamilton Palm Line. They won the jazz division at state. Next up, we have girls varsity volleyball, who became 2020 state champions. Our Hamilton's Air Force Junior ROTC Cyber Patriot team took first place in the state competition. We had a Coca-Cola scholar. I don't know what you guys know about it, but for her being selected, Arisu, she was less than 1/6 of 1% of applicants chosen. Pretty crazy. We also have Sam Bregman. He raised $15,000 to buy each student at Galveston Elementary a brand new pair of shoes. We have Hamilton's Orchestra. 10 of our members of the orchestra have been chosen for the 2021 All-State Orchestra Festival. HHS Band, 5 of our members were selected for the All-State Band. And lastly, our academic decathlon are once again the Arizona State Champions for the 3rd year in a row. I think that's enough bragging for now, and on behalf of Hamilton Student Government, I would like to thank the CUSD Board for everything you do for us, as well as everyone else for listening, and as always, go Huskies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brooke. So I believe this is your last time here with us, and so can you tell us what your plans are for after you graduate high school?
After I graduate, I'm planning to go to the University of Arizona in the fall. I'm so excited. It's kind of funny because my family is split in half Sun Devils, half Wildcats. I grew up a Sun Devil, and it's kind of funny that I'm changing from maroon to gold to blue and red, and I'm so excited for the change. I think it's the right fit for me, so I'm ready for it.
Yeah. And what do you plan to study?
Business.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, I'm looking forward to
we
it.
have a little something for you because, I know that with being in business, you're going to get a desk and all that kind of good stuff. So we have a nameplate for you for your desk.
That's amazing. I've always wanted one. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
For the record, accounting is exciting.
There's some good, ugly, and I'm ready for it all.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in your further studies, and as I say, we hope you are very successful. We know you will be because you've been so successful in high school. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you. And, let's see. I have lost my agenda. Here we go. Next, we have Mary Chan from Perry High School. Could you come on up and tell us what's been going on at Perry?
Hello, everyone. Let me open up this. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad to be back here tonight for my last board meeting. I feel like I was just here with all the other presidents meeting Dr. Castile for the first time. I have some super exciting things from the Perry campus. In Stugo news, in March, we concluded our school-wide fundraiser for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. We ended up raising $5,000 for them through restaurant nights and a teacher competition. Next week, our council is hosting our Prom Spirit Week, even though we're not having a dance. This week leads up to our first in-person events of the year. Next Friday is our senior movie night and our senior assembly. Even though we weren't able to host the actual dance, our juniors had fun filming a theme release video as shown in these photos. The theme of the week is Ocean's 11 because we will be showing that movie at our movie night. This theme was created by our junior class because they have 11 class officers. Our Prom Spirit Week will consist of spirit days, hallway decorating, prom royalty, and a virtual assembly for the underclassmen. Our junior prom royalty will be crowned in the virtual assembly. The senior movie night will be hosted on our football field next Friday. It is free admission for all our seniors, so we can give them one last school memory. Our senior assembly is our first in-person assembly of the year. We will be honoring the seniors with a senior slideshow, unveiling our senior gift, crowning senior prom royalty, and watching some performances. We're so glad to be able to plan some in-person events to end this school year. Our final event of the year is Teacher Appreciation Week. During the week, we'll be gifting our teachers for their hard work and offering a teacher lunch. Our teachers' lunch will be burgers and hot dogs grilled by our very own Mr. Ames and Mr. Green. We're so excited to thank our teachers for all the hard work they've put in this year. Also, we have continued with our kindness committee from last quarter. This group of Stugo members goes around campus and spreads random acts of kindness each week. These are our compliment sticky notes from last week, and this group has been a great addition to our council. Now, in dance news, Perry's first competitive dance team, also known as PCDC, competed in their first virtual competition in February. They placed second at the Arizona State Cheer and Pom Tournament, and this is only the first year they've ever competed. Also, our Moveo Company dance team just concluded their fall dance tour in Boston. They traveled there to take classes and learn from Boston dance faculty. In club news, Perry National Honor Society concluded their canned food drive in March. After 2 weeks, they collected over 2,300 cans of food to feed families over Easter weekend. These were all donated to the Matthews Crossing Food Bank. In our graphic design program, Jaden Alkin received first place in the City of Gilbert Sustainability Design Contest. Her design will be displayed on a city trash truck, as well as her name and her school. Our Operation Smile Club is currently hosting their Spread the Love campaign with a bulletin board in the cafeteria. Students can come up to this table during lunch and write what makes them smile to spread some smiles throughout campus. In our science department, 11 students competed in AZCEF last weekend, and 6 of them won awards. Aditya Sivakumar and Josh Shunk placed third. Adil Chaudhry, Camden King, Nathan Lamb, and Lily Siebold all placed second. These students have worked hard all year on their projects, and their hard work has paid off. In athletic news, Jason Hall, our paraprofessional, and Coach Jolynn Boone had some of our self-contained students join in one of her workout classes. The students were invited to the weight room, and Coach Boone had her athletes lead and encourage the students in a workout. The students had such a great time and were invited back to do it again. 9 of 10 of our varsity fall sports earned the AIA Team Scholar Award, which honors teams who have a team cumulative 3.5 GPA or higher. Girls cross country has the highest team GPA at a 3.99. 65% of our varsity athletes earn the AIA Individual Scholar Award by having a 3.5 GPA or higher. Both our girls and boys varsity basketball teams made it to the state quarterfinals. Coach Andrew Curtis was nominated for the Spirit of Cotton Coaching Award. Coach Sam Duane was named All-Premier Region Coach of the Year. Girls varsity soccer made it to the state semifinals, with Sierra Heron and Jasmine Brass winning multiple AIA awards. Wrestling placed 9th at state. Caleb Miles was state runner-up and sectional champion. Jacob Hansen took 4th place and was the sectional champion. Our varsity cheer team received AIA state runner-up in game day cheer and 3rd place in show cheer. The all-girls stunt team placed 3rd at AIA state. Pom placed 7th at state and 3rd in the jazz category. In girls track, Michaela Long is a national winner. She broke the state record in shot put and is ranked #1 in the nation by almost 3 feet. Girls tennis has had an undefeated season, and our varsity boys volleyball team is currently undefeated and ranked #1 in the nation. Our sports teams have been through a lot of new changes this year, but they continue to uphold their titles and rankings. While the rest of my council was unable to meet you all this year, it's been an honor to work with such amazing students and leaders at Perry. I'm so proud of everything our Perry students and faculty have accomplished this year, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mary. We've enjoyed having you here with us this year, although it's been a very short year for, for joining us at our meetings. What are your plans for after you graduate?
I actually have no idea yet. My
Okay.
options right now are Boston University, University of Washington, Northeastern, so I have to decide in a couple weeks, which is kind of scary. So,
And what are you interested in majoring in?
also business marketing.
Okay. Well, great. Then we also have a desk name tag for you. So we're very happy that you've been able to make it and join us this year. And we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
I think it's really sometimes the highlight of the meeting when we can hear all the things that are going on in our high schools. I personally really enjoy it and makes me feel young again. But anyway, I can't believe all the energy that the high schools have and the students and how fantastically the student councils channel that energy into really productive, fun things and things that help the community also. So we appreciate that. Thank you. We will move on to our consent agenda. Dr. Castillo.
Madam President, my glasses fog up. Madam President, members of the board, we have out-of-state student travel pre-planning requests for Basha, Chandler, Hamilton, and Perry High Schools. We have monetary gifts that have been donated to our schools totaling $58,875.39. We've received some items that have been donated valued at $38,958.18. I know you're all familiar with our school resource officers, we refer to as SROs. We are in a partnership with the City of Chandler, and they agreed to place Chandler Police Department school resource officers at our schools: Basha, Chandler, Hamilton, Anderson Jr., Bogle Jr., Santan Jr., and Willis Jr. We receive a grant from the Arizona Department of Education, and we were awarded a 3-year cycle from 2020 to 2023. The school safety grant was awarded in the amount of $416,170. This school safety grant allows for 3 SROs assigned to Hamilton, Bogle High, and Willis. The total actual salaries and benefits amount for all 3 grant-funded officers estimated to be $357,859. The Safe Schools Program grant will only fund the actual salaries and benefits not to exceed $416,170. Non-grant funded SROs. We have 4 SROs assigned to Basha, Chandler, Anderson Jr., and Santan Jr. The total actual salary and benefits among the 4 non-grant funded officers is $502,013. Chandler Schools and City of Chandler agree to split the cost of these 4 SROs. We will pay $251,006. Recommend approval for sole source procurement for the City of Chandler Police Department in the total amount of $608,865. And you see the portion of that, the $357,859, is from the grant. toward 3 of the SROs, plus the $251,006 that we contribute to the non-funded SROs. The school safety program grant will be presented to the board annually for approval. District attorney has reviewed and signed request approval to enter the 2020 to 23 intergovernmental agreement with the City of Chandler. Recommend your approval. I'm sorry. The next one is the board approved the annual software renewal maintenance contracts with estimated spending on June 10th at 2020. At that time, a total of $160,000 was estimated utilizing the Illuminate Education School City, the vendor for grades 7 through 12th assessment program. We're requesting approval to increase Illuminate Education amount to $60,000 by $60,000 to cover the additional assessments needed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Our Arizona College Prep, high school number 7, that is almost near completion. We're requesting board approval to purchase the items below in the amount of $433,128.57. You can see these are golf carts, copiers, athletic trainer supplies, sports medicine class, band, choir, orchestra instruments, CTE digital, photo supplies, and this has followed all procurement rules and guidelines. Basha High carpeting is due to be replaced. It is 20 years old and in need of replacement. If approved, the work would start as soon as school is out, the end of May, and would be completed by the time school starts on July 21st. The scope of the work includes demolition and disposal, furniture moves and replace, and installation. The total cost of the work is $327,485.55. The district recommends using wholesale floors by way of a 1 GPA contract, which complies with all school procurement rules. We have employee contracts. We're recommending approval of the 21-22 employee contracts, administrative certified psychologists, and speech language pathologists. Those are just the wording of the contracts. And salary schedules for certified professional, certified teacher, preschool teacher, salary schedules for next year. Finally, our human resources, employment, separation, and compensation is in your 10th item. Recommend approval of the consent agenda as provided.
Thank you, Dr. Castile. Could I please get a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we get to move on to our action items, and our first one is from Mrs. Berry.
Madam President, members of the board, children of non-residents of this country documented as I-20 students may be admitted upon payment of a reasonable tuition fixed by the governing board under revised statute 15-823A. In the past, the governing board set tuition for incoming I-20 students using a method that determines the cost per student. This formula or methodology took into consideration the Maintenance and Operations Fund, the Classroom Site Fund, Unrestricted Capital Fund, Federal and State Projects Funds, Food Service Funds, and other pertinent funds divided by the total student count to establish the tuition price per I-20 student. After applying the same methodology and formula from the past with updated numbers due to inflation and the restoration of district additional assistance, the administration is recommending the fiscal year 21-22 tuition rate to be adjusted to $9,027 per student annually. Recommendation to approve tuition rates for I-20 students at $9,027 for this fiscal year. We had approximately 2 students that accessed it last year, and we refunded those students partially because of COVID. And then the year before, I think we had 3 students. So I think the highest has been around 7 or 8 students per year, to give you an amount.
Thank you, Mrs. Berry. Could I please get a motion, and then we can discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
What was the previous amount they were charged?
It was $7,400.
when was the last time that there was an adjustment to this? What year was that?
2014,
Okay, so we're
7 years.
it's been 7 years, okay. So that's not unreasonable at all. Are there any other questions? Okay, all those in favor of approving the tuition rates as indicated in our agenda item, please say aye.
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 Thank you.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And next, we have an item for Mr. Fletcher, Sally Ports at Anderson Elementary and CTA Humphrey.
Madam President, members of the board, in our effort to provide additional security at Anderson Elementary and CTA Humphrey, we are proposing to build a sally port at each location. This will eliminate the need for security personnel checking people in and out of the facility. The design for these two schools is very similar to what we recently constructed at Weinberg Gifted Academy. The district has chosen Chase Building Team for this project as they were the general contractor for the Weinberg project. We will use a 1 GPA purchasing cooperative for this project, which complies with all school procurement rules. We have negotiated a $455,000 contract for CTA Humphrey and a $450,000 contract for Anderson Elementary for a total cost of $905,000. We recommend Chase Building Team for a total contract in the amount of $905,000 for the Anderson and Humphrey Sally Ports.
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. Could we please get a motion for approval of this item?
Madam President, I recommend approval for Chase Building Team for a total contract cost of $905,000 for Sally Ports at Anderson Elementary and CTA Humphrey. I don't know where I was looking.
Second.
All right, are there any questions for Mr. Humphrey?
I got
I'm
one.
sorry, I'm thinking for Mr. Fletcher.
One quick one. Frank, I asked you some questions earlier, and I got those answers, but 1 GPA, is that a renaming, or is it a brand-new purchasing cooperative?
1 GPA has been around for over a decade now.
So what, did it used to have a different name?
No,
Now, is there still other cooperatives out there? What was the one that was
there's
created?
many of them. You've got state procurement, you've got SAVE, you've got Guppies, you've got 1 GPA, there is TCPN, although I'm not sure TCPN is still operating. So there's a half a dozen too.
1 GPA, is that school district, or is it more than just school districts?
It's a government procurement, so I would say all government entities can access it.
Okay.
Mr. Fletcher, could you, since most of our listening public doesn't, may not be familiar with what a sally port is, could you go ahead and explain that?
A sally point is a single point of entry into the facility where you can go no further in the facility until those folks check you in, make sure that you are supposed to be on campus, then they will, through access control, allow you entry into the campus and let you go where you need to go or escort you where you need to go. So it basically is a containment area. It's first point of contact into the facility.
Thank you. And are these, I know I saw a lot of the plans, it looks like they are just repurposing an area of the building that will be utilized, not actually building something brand new from the ground up.
The sally port will be built ground up. We will renovate an existing classroom, turn that into the office area,
I see, okay.
similar to Weinberg.
Okay, great. Thank you. Are there any other questions?
I have two things. First, I'd like to, like in the future going forward, I'd like to see, changes to like the outsides of the buildings and stuff. I'd like to get a little preview of that before it gets to this point. Second thing, on Anderson Elementary, they have the same amount for roofing and such as they do on Humphrey. It's the same design building, but on Humphrey, the skylights that they're supposed to be closing up, those were closed up a couple of years ago. Those are the big 5 by 10 foot skylights. It's part of the scope on this one. So you should probably ask them to refund that back to you.
Mr. Olive, I've already negotiated almost $80,000 from the original contract amount, but I can certainly go back if that's what you'd like.
Your roofing prices for both of them are the same, and your roof for one of them is smaller than your roof for the other one.
We'll certainly look at it.
Are there any other questions? Okay, I'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is for our citizen comments, and I don't see Mr. Locke in the room. I believe that he's going to first talk to us about the online comments that were submitted to us over the last several weeks.
Well, thank you,
Mr.
Madam
Locke.
President, members of the board, Dr. Castile. Since our last board meeting on February the 24th, last month, we have received feedback from 141 people who took advantage of an electronic method to provide citizen comments. The opportunity is promoted on our governing board page, allowing for the convenience of providing feedback remotely. I shouldn't run to the microphone. I'm like out of breath. With our current format, we're able to provide board members feedback in advance to give them time to process the information and ask questions of the district administration. We categorize the feedback by topic. This week, the emails fall into 3 categories. 1, health, safety, masks, and metrics. 2, curriculum. 3, extracurricular activities. 4, a retirement celebration. And 5, a big thank you to the board. You have the submissions verbatim for your consideration. They're also available on the website for public review. I want to provide some clarification on some of the topics we've received during this timeline. Regarding the mandatory mask wearing, this is not on the arena of any local school board. Here is the email we sent out to all of our staff and parents on April 6th. Governor Doug Ducey's released an executive order on March 25th, 2021 that rescinds previous executive orders. However, it does not rescind Executive Order 2051 requiring school districts and charter schools both to require face coverings through June 30th, 2021 when it expires. It also does not overturn the emergency order from the Arizona Department of Health Services AZDHS Emergency Measure 2020-04 that specifically requires school districts to have a face covering policy in place. Regarding the retirement celebration plan for April 29th, the outdoor come and go event scheduled for Dr. Castile's honor is intentionally designed to follow the COVID mitigation strategies currently in place for CUSD gatherings. Attendees will be outside during the duration, and capacity will be limited. RSVP is required, so capacity can be monitored. Masks will be required, and social distancing encouraged. Attendees will be encouraged to walk through a display depicting Dr. Castile's 50 years of service to CUSD. On the topic of outdoor events, as we near the end of 2021 and recognize accomplishments of the students and staff, the best practices for COVID mitigation will remain our highest priority. High schools are hopeful they can increase the number of invitees to graduation as COVID-19 cases decline.
Thank you, Mr. Locke. We appreciate everyone who has submitted their comments online, and please know that we do read them all, and we take your comments to heart. Thank you so much. Next, our first, this is the time for public comment, and members of the board may not discuss or take legal action on items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment may be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date. Our first speaker tonight, since we do have a number of, looks like we will have 2 minutes for each individual to speak. There will be a timer up on the monitors, and I believe that Dr. Nance will be running the timer. Our first individual tonight is Kurt Roars. Kurt?
Madam President, Madam Superintendent, staff, and board members, My name is Kurt Rhodes. I'm a parent in this district. I listened to the Gilbert Public Schools Board.
Hold on a minute. No, I'm not. I know it's important.
We didn't want him to be walking back and forth in front of you, Kurt, so.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Kurt. Let's start over.
I listened to the Gilbert Public Schools Board meeting recently that announced a very difficult decision to lay off 152 certified staff, mostly teachers, because of a lack of student enrollment. One thing that became very apparent during the discussion, though not directly addressed, there is no shortage of teachers in local districts such as Gilbert, Mason, and Chandler. There's a shortage of students. The public has been continually fed the narrative from teachers' unions and activist organizations about the critical teacher shortages in Arizona, implying that raising teacher pay is the most effective solution for this crisis. However, the public has been misled by this half-truth. Desirable districts such as Chandler and Gilbert plainly do not have a general shortage of teachers. They actually have too many. Whereas a credible shortage of teachers is in undesirable districts, such as rural areas and troubled neighborhoods where teachers have little desire to live or work. This is a more accurate assessment that has been routinely suppressed because it does not fit the narrative. But if you remember from Sunday school, a half a truth is a whole lie. In conclusion, the district must strive to regain the trust and confidence of parents. It would be a far wiser decision for the district to disengage with activist staff and for them to disengage with parents who ultimately make school choice decisions. Now is the time for choosing. Please choose wisely. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next is Brenna Gentner. Brenna, I do want to remind you that I would suggest that you not mention, I noticed the topic of yours. Please do not mention any specific names due to the fact that you could possibly be, accused of slander, things like that, okay?
I wasn't going to be doing that today. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I'm Brenna. I'm going to be discussing a topic right now that needs to be handled at this school district. One of the mission statements of the Chandler Unified School District is your zero tolerance policy on bullying at your schools. Although it has been shown again and again the tolerance you do hold for the bullying, especially sexual assault at your schools. It is uncomfortable and alarming to be forced to go to school with the active predators at Perry, Hamilton, and Bash High School especially, along with the other schools at this district. This bullying occurs from exploitation verbally to physically, on and off campus. When it happens off campus, your officers conclude that they cannot do anything about it, and for those students to just move on. And when it does happen on campus, the punishment is unfortunately forgotten about. According to the CUSD policy of JICKR on the governing board website, the district does not tolerate bullying, harassment, or intimidation in any form. Further, the district shall investigate each complaint of bullying, harassment, and intimidation and will take appropriate, timely, and responsive action. Your students should not have to walk around with the exploiters of their own bodies. The students here today ask you to execute this policy and to help keep your
30
students
seconds.
from feeling unsafe. Thank you for listening and for considering the ongoing problem causing pain and uncertainty to your students.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Our next is Melissa Canedo. I just want to remind you also to please not mention specific names, okay?
My name is Melissa Canedo. I am here today.
Can you move the microphone down closer? Thank you.
Is this good?
Yes,
Okay.
much better.
My name is Melissa Canedo. I am here today to speak on behalf of myself and other young men, women and men associated with being sexually assaulted in and off campus. I would like to bring attention towards the fact that nothing is being done for those who have come forward. For example, myself. I came forward, notified the school, made a police report, and nothing has been done by the school or by the police. My assault happened on school grounds. There's one student in particular that has sexually assaulted and harassed many girls and women at Perry High School. The school still has not taken action towards the offender. I personally do not feel comfortable going to school where sexual assault is blatantly ignored. Actions must be taken before the offender causes another offense. I asked the board this question. Aren't us students supposed to feel safe at school? If so, why aren't we being protected? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Olivia Witt.
Hello, my name is Olivia Witt, and I attend Perry High School. A particular student that goes to my school has assaulted me and many other girls and boys off and on school property. Nothing is being done, so I'm here today to ask you what is being done to prevent more victims. How many more girls have to be assaulted in order for something to be done? This has been going on for at least 5 years, and there is no stopping in sight. I feel uncomfortable going to the school with him, as I'm sure many other people are. I understand your hands are tied until more boys and girls come forward. But I want everyone to be aware of the situation and the fact that he's being held to a higher standard by being on student council and varsity track. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Eliza Brown.
Hello, my name is Eliza Brown. I'm a junior at Basha High School. Both of my parents have previously worked in your district, and my dad was actually announced Teacher of the Year in 2017. Over the past few months, 14 men and women have opened up about their sexual assault that has taken place upon them by one student in particular at Perry High School. When I went to my school resource officer, they told me that I made up the situation, that I voluntarily participated in my assault, He also made up lies to me that he told directly to my mother, and he told me to drop the situation and ignore my predator. He also asked the witnesses of my assault he asked them if they wanted to ruin that kid's life. When other victims went to their counselors, they were told that the most Perry High School can do is suspend our predator, which they have yet to do. This is really crazy because today at Basha High School, you guys suspended a student for bullying. It's disheartening that your schools have yet again taken the side of the oppressor and haven't offered any assistance to the 14 men and women that were assaulted. We are asking you, Camille Castile, at the very least, to expel our predator in efforts to make us feel safe and supported at your schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Palumbo from Mesa. Lisa? Lisa Palumbo from Mesa? Is she here? Oh, okay. And then on deck, we will have Dave Frenecki from Chandler. Okay, we will move on. Is Dave Frenecki here? Dave Frenecki of Chandler.
Next.
Okay, Paul Blair of Chandler.
Next.
Okay, Dan L. of Chandler.
Next.
Jason Vermeer.
Next.
Deborah Georgeovich.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you say your name?
Hello, my name is Jason.
Jason Vermeer?
Yes, ma'am.
Of Chandler. Okay, thank you.
I have a medical condition. Can I take this off? Is that okay, like, since I'm 6 feet?
We-
They told me to ask you.
We require masks. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We do require masks
I'm
to be
sorry,
worn.
Camille took it off when she was talking, so I just wanted to ask. Okay, thank you all so much for your time. I know there's a lot going on. This message for Chandler Unified School Board, Superintendent Camille Castile, incoming interim Superintendent Frank Narducci, Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, Arizona Department of Health Services Kara Christ, City Council, Department of Education, Red for Ed, principal, superintendents, teachers, police on campus, and anybody else that I missed who's enforcing masks. This is about freedom of choice. I don't know the political games that you all are playing, and I don't care. I'm here for one reason. I just want to make masks a choice for our kids. Over the last year, we've seen so much go on, and when you mess with our kids, you take it too far. This is more than a mandate. This is about control. Mandates have been in place since March of 2020. After 54 weeks, on March 25th, 2021, Ducey lifted the mandate so businesses, restaurants, gyms, and movies would have a choice, but yet we still want to force our kids to wear masks 8 hours a day. Why? This doesn't make any sense. Stop saying that it's Ducey's Executive Order 2020.51 or Kara Christ's Emergency Order 2020.04. We know those are in effect until June 30th of this year. But ask yourself, why is it these particular executive orders? What is it about government buildings or our public schools? Is COVID worse there?
30 seconds.
No, it's not. I mean, on CUSD website, there is 21 students who have active cases of the 42,000 students that are in our school district. That equates to 0.049%. It's so minimal, and these masks are damaging to our kids. The suicide rate, the depression, the anxiety, I mean, we really need you guys.
Time has expired.
We trust you with our
Deborah Georgeovich. Deborah Georgeovich. Deborah, I just wanted to let you know that your email box was full and would not accept any emails. So
Well, I talked with Mr. Locke about that. It's a phone issue with iCloud instead of Hotmail, so I'm sorry.
anyway, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Deborah Georgeovich, and I stand before you this evening to hopefully redirect the focus of our kids' importance in this district. Kids should be put first at all levels. Over the past year, I've sat quietly and allowed all the leaders in this district to control social, athletic, and academic events of my children. I keep telling myself I need to respect and support their decision because they are trying to do what's best for my kids. I'm standing before this board because I no longer believe this. My 8th grade son cannot commence his 8th grade year with the school's annual 8th grade promotion celebration dance, even if it's modified, but a gym full of wrestlers can literally tackle each other to the ground, sweat, and roll around on each other. My senior's district prom was and is canceled, but basketball players can press up against each other fighting for a ball. Up until yesterday, my husband and I were going to be the only 2 family members to see our senior graduate. Although we are thankful for the 2 more wristbands we were allocated, how do we decide who goes? Which 2 of my son's 4 grandparents get to go? What about my son's brother? Why aren't high school graduation students given the same respect as Dr. Castile? And each RSVP is allowed up to 10 people. I'll answer that. It's because kids right now are not being put first. Don't get me wrong.
30
I
seconds.
think Dr. Castile deserves this wonderful milestone event. She's an outstanding leader who I admire deeply. But the kids of this district deserve their milestones too. I'm tired of hearing the excuse, kids are resilient. Honestly, it's one of the most falsely overused lines throughout this pandemic. If kids are so resilient, why do we have a generation of adults who are still talking about their childhood traumas? Kids want and need these school athletics.
Time has expired. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Leslie Wilson from Mesa. Are none of those people from before, are any of them back?
They don't want to wear a mask.
Okay, then, thank you. Katie Nash, you will be our last individual.
All right, this year has been incredibly challenging for everyone, from support staff to administration to students and parents, as well as educators. One thing that has remained constant during this ever-changing time is our commitment to providing quality education to all of our students. Our entire staff went above and beyond to adapt to the new COVID environment, but unfortunately, we lost students along the way. That decrease in enrollment has had financial implications to both our budget and our staffing. We as the Chandler Education Association are grateful for the long hours that were spent looking at creative ways to save over $12 million, but most importantly, save our talented staff, affectionately referred to by Dr. Castile as Arizona's best, and preserve our class sizes. By investing this time and energy, we will continue to be able to meet the increased needs of our students as we recover from COVID. We would like to thank Dr. Wendy Nance, Mrs. Lana Berry, and Mrs. Heather Caviar for the countless hours they spent to make sure that Chandler students will continue to receive the quality education they are accustomed to. We would also like to thank the Human Resources and Payroll departments for their efforts by providing lunch later this month. We know they have been crunching numbers, writing contracts, supporting staff through leaves of absence and retirement, and transferring employees. They made sure we had site-based subs to help alleviate the need for teachers to cover each other's classes. Their work has not gone unnoticed. I would be remiss if I did not take this time to acknowledge the importance of the association and the district working together. From the beginning, CEA advocated for preserving jobs during this economic and health crisis. We spoke at every governing board meeting. We made job preservation a priority during bargaining. In each of our bargaining meetings, we highlighted the importance of maintaining the student-to-teacher ratio to strengthen the relationships teachers have with their students. As we recover from COVID, we know our students will need more academic and emotional support. Now is not the time to be cutting back on resources. While the teachers union is often called out for being bullies or for indoctrinating our students, we stand behind.
Katie, would you please do the special presentation and say what this is for at the microphone as to why you gave that to her, please.
Yeah, that was, I guess, in there, but yeah, we just wanted to thank them for the extra efforts that they spent in preserving jobs. We know there were countless hours. I received numerous emails from Wendy at about 4 a.m. I don't know who is up at that hour, but it is definitely Wendy. And we had contests to see who was going to be the last person to leave. So that was just a little gesture of our thanks, because I know it did not go as successfully in neighboring districts. So we appreciate the ability to be working together and just appreciate that benefit to our community by preserving our staff.
Thank you. And thank you, Wendy. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed. We appreciate it. Next, we'll go on to our information items. We will, I believe our private day tuition expenditures are Larry's.
Madam President, members of the governing board, the list of private day school tuition expenditures for the third quarter of the 2021 school year is provided for your review. Normally, the governing board likes to know where this compares to last year at this quarter. So we are servicing 14 less students in our private day settings than we were at this time last year. That equates to about a $260,000 less in budget that we're also spending in the third quarter. We know that the Chandler Learning Center is servicing a lot of those students here in-house, and our teachers are doing what they need to do to meet our students' needs in the classrooms. So there's the expenditures for the third quarter.
Just a quick question. With the remaining amount, it looks like we have only expended about half of the budget at this point. Is that because we don't always get the billing in time and these will all catch up by the end of the year, or is this all?
We've trended below the expected expenditures throughout the year. Again, servicing many more of our students here in-house. And so we're anticipating that we won't hit that the approved amount this year, and then we'll reevaluate for next year and come back with a different amount for next year. But we're glad to see that that number is coming in under budget.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right. Third quarter technology report. Mr. Fletcher.
Madam President, members of the board, the third quarter technology report is presented for your information.
Any questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. We appreciate your staff preparing that. Next, we have our board agenda roadmap. And it looks like there is an A+ celebration at Navarrete this Friday, and there's the ASBA equity event done virtually on the 21st to the 23rd. Ms. Love, would you like to speak to that? Do you have any information, or were you going to talk about that?
Sure. I'm introducing one of the keynote speakers, so it's exciting. If you haven't gotten signed up, please let me know. I can try to get you in, but it's going to be a really exciting event this year. We've got a really great theme, so yeah, we're excited.
Thank you. All right. We are actually starting to get into the final stretch of the last couple of months of school. So, Dr. Castile, do you have any comments for this evening?
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'd like to spotlight our latest success story. I think it was mentioned earlier by one of our students. Congratulations to all the students that excelled at the Arizona Science and Engineering Fair. While we have 3% of the children in the state of Arizona, our students won or took home more than 1/3 of the state's award-winning projects at the Arizona Science and Engineering Fair. As you well know, we've excelled in that area, and our students really do a fabulous job. So congratulations to all the hard work. And also take a moment to congratulate Frank Narducci. I'm thrilled that he will serve in the superintendent's role next year, and I know with his outstanding team with Larry and Craig and Frank and Wendy and Lana. He will just knock the socks off of everybody. I'm convinced this team is the best, bar none, and I thank the board for making that decision last week. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Castile. Do any board members have any comments? No? Okay, meeting is adjourned. We'll see you in 2 weeks.